was hoping it poked through, so move the camera. I had to work from both sides. It should be mostly board cut out. I don't know if anyone's paying attention, but the sap is running, and that always makes it tougher to fell a tree. Yep, that was not a tapped tree. I left a little high wood, and that kind of kicked it forward. And you can see where I bore cut high wood, and I kind of feel bad because that was a nice sugar maple right there. But let me go cut the top out and go to the next one. This is quite a bit bigger tree, and one of the things I'm sure someone's going to observe is cutting that last tree went a whole lot faster. And you're going to say, why? Well, let's see if this one goes faster. And the answer is going to be, I'm not fighting. And I'll let you figure out what the answer to what I'm not fighting against is. Most of that tree is now bore cut. Probably a quarter from the other side isn't. Let's see what it does. All right, what I hope this is going to show is that a premature close, because I didn't put a lot of hinge, resulted in a pull going up. You see that right there? See that right there? So I'm going to lose 4 to 6 inches of that log because of a shallow face cut. You know, this is what I've been trying to say for a long time. I got to cut some of that off anyway, I don't care. But this thing is going to split right up the middle. You know, that's what they do. Come back on me. So here's the key. I don't want to be either behind the tree or in front of the tree. I want to be off to the side of the tree because I don't know which way it's going. I'm hoping I got enough hinge to where I can wedge it over. Right now the hinge is in tension, big time tension. Waving. I think it's going. So in this case, I believe the hinge held. Boy, it's acting like I didn't get all the wood. Let me check and make sure I got everything in there all the way through. Yeah, it's all there. Just being sticky and stubborn. She wants to come back backwards in the worst way. So right now the tree wants to rotate about where it's in contact with those two wedges, and the hinge is like a cable keeping it from going over that direction. So what I have to do with the wedges is push it to where the center of gravity is past the hinge before it goes. goes. All right, let's see what we got. So, even with the open face, I still got to pull. That's not the end of the world, but that's also why I usually bore cut a little bit to minimize that chance. Now, in this case, I was willing to sacrifice, right? And but I tried to mitigate the damage by having a really open face cut, but it didn't matter. It was going to pull anyway. That's because the fibers on these trees are just so strong, you know. So I lost 8 inches of wood on that. You know, that's a loss because that's not a tapped tree. So that actually was a loss right there. So what I needed to do, because obviously the hinge was pretty strong, and this is where the experience comes in. What I needed to do on that tree there was I did need to bore cut out a little bit of the heart of that hinge. And then that would have eliminated the pull. And I think I had plenty of strength in order to execute the, you know, the wedging operation. But, all right, let me cut the top out of this one. Yeah, these maples, they skunk me every time with that pull. You know, it's almost like I always have to do everything in order to get it to go down without some pull. You know, I got to get the open face cut. I have to bore cut from the front a little bit. And I have to have a high back cut. And if I don't do all those things, you get that. And that's a lesson, you know, I keep trying to convince myself I don't have to do all those things. And I've been trying to convince myself of that now for something like 25 freaking years. But I still end up with that, you know. But if you remember what I had said was I was willing to sacrifice a little bit because I wanted the tensile strength in that hinge. But to all those people out there who don't understand maple, look and learn. It's got long fibers and they are very, very, very strong. Ash is even worse. You know, there's a lot of firewood in that top. So anyway, on to the next. Now, part of the reason why that pulled is because the hinge was too wide. So basically it was rotating about you can look at it if you look careful. Not that I was going to make the hinge that small. Like I said, the right approach on this was to bore cut from the front. It would eliminate most of that. But because it was rotating about here, right? And the weight of the tree wasn't enough to crush that center section there. So at some point in time, rotating about there, it probably hit the face here, and that went into tension and pulled. And my hunch is this thing could be folded all the way over before it breaks because of the way those fibers are. But had I bore cut the front of that, I would have got rid of that. But also, if I had bore cut the front, it could have gone back the other way because I had to really wedge that over. Even with that distance to the back, it still took a lot of wedging. So the tree really wanted to go the other way. And the sacrifice I made to get it to go where I wanted it to go was too strong a hinge for perfection, you know, on a stump, and therefore a pull. Oh, look at that stump. Isn't that nice? Breaks down versus up. That's a nice cut right there. But yet again, I've got it as close to the hook as I can, the hitch. What I'm going to do is I'm going to release the cable and drive out some before I actually pull this log in, so when these trees get pulled over, they don't get pulled over into the cab.